Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I will be testing out the new Fenty Beauty cream products. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this to the skin. I went ahead with the Fenty Beauty matte foundation, and then on this side I have completely bare skin. I swatched them on the skin, and the first thing I noticed was that they were sheer but buildable. And then I thought to myself, like, how is the wear time on this? So in this video, I will be testing it out and then wearing it throughout the day and then checking in with you guys later today after 6 to 8 hours. My main focus is that I really want to see how long this lasts on the skin. Half of my face I have makeup on, and then this one I have bare skin, because I know a lot of people like to put on cream products when they have no makeup on. So I picked up the cream blush, and this one is in Fuego Flush. I was like, oh, I have to try this because it's like an orangey tangerine type of blush, and I just think it's beautiful. I'll go ahead and show you guys close up and swatches. So the first thing I definitely noticed was that it is sheer, but it seems as if it's buildable, which is a good thing, and that's how they're marketing it as. They're not saying like, oh, this is super pigmented. They're actually marketing it as sheer to buildable. So it did have a little bit of shimmer in it. I know some people might not like that, so I did want to point that out. Some people do like it though, like with the NARS Orgasm that has a little bit of shimmer to it. So some people like those little specks of, like, I don't want to say it's glitter, I want to say it's more like sparkles, because glitter is a little bit more heavier, and this is to me like very light, finely milled sparkles. That's what it looks like to me. So that's what I'm going to try out on the skin today, the Fuego Flush blush. As for the bronzer, I got the Macchiato. So the Macchiato is gorgeous. I went with this one because it said it was light to medium skin tones, and I swatch it for you guys. You guys will see it is sheer, but it is definitely buildable. All right, so I'm actually going to start off with the bronzer, and then I'm going to go in with the cream blush. So what I like to do is I usually like to put it on my face, like with my fingers, and then I always say this, whenever going in with cream products, I love me a good dual fiber brush. This one I'll use for the bronzer, and this one I'll use for the blush. These are both from Sigma. This one is a Sigma Small Dual Fiber F55. This one is a dual fiber blush, powder, F15 brush, but you can also apply it with your finger as well and then kind of build it up that way. It's however you want to apply it. Okay, so I grabbed the cream bronzer, right? And I kind of go like this to kind of warm it up on the skin. I apply it to my face, wherever I want to kind of bronze. So we're going to try it on the side that has absolutely no makeup on. So I'm going to go in with my dual fiber brush and now start to blend that out. So I do have quite a bit of breakouts right here, but I really wanted to test it out for you guys on bare skin. I'm going to go into the product and kind of apply a little bit to my brush, take a little bit off on the hand, and apply a little bit more on here into the cheeks, just to kind of warm that up a bit. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of bronzer, and I'm kind of stippling it into the skin, and then I'm going to take my time and kind of just blend it all out. And I'm just going to go lightly, stipple it in. And then I do like to add a little bit just right here and bring it down to the neck as well. So yeah, I'm just going to take my time doing that. We'll zoom in so you guys can really see how it applied and all that. But I mean, honestly, so far I actually really like it. I think I did pick a pretty good one because at first I was like, oh, is this too tan? But when you do blend it out, it blends effortlessly. Like, it actually blends out amazing. Okay, so for this side, I guess I'll do the same thing where I add it with my fingers, and then if I need to, I'll go back with my brush. Now, I don't have any powder on the skin. I'm literally just wearing foundation, but I did let it sit in the skin for at least 15 minutes. So that's usually what I like to do whenever I'm working with cream products. I do kind of like to do the cream, like let it sit, do the other step with the cream, let it sit, and do it that way. I also wanted to note that if you guys notice that the video kind of changes to different colors, that's because I'm working in front of a big window, and sometimes the sun comes in and sometimes it doesn't. So if you notice a bit of change in the lighting, it's just because of the sun coming in and out. I'm not working with any studio lighting today. I want you guys to see what this really looks like if I were to go outside, you know? Okay, let's go ahead and blend that. I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the other side. I'm going to go back in with a little bit and then just kind of build it up that way. Okay, you guys, so I'm sort of just building it up again. I actually really love how it looks like on the bare skin. I did actually do a review of the Huda Beauty cream bronzer, and that one, for some reason, the cream just clung to my texture and my acne scars so badly, and I feel like this bronzer didn't do that, and it makes me feel really confident that it didn't do that. If you have texture skin and you have ever tried a cream product, you guys know that it's kind of difficult because it will kind of cling to that. I have to say this Fenty Beauty one did not do that. It blended out so well, and I'm really impressed with it. It definitely is sheer at first and you have to build it up. It's not super pigmented. I think if you want something super pigmented, you're gonna have to just do a powder bronzer or really build this up for a while. So I really liked how it looked on the side with bare skin. Now let's talk about the side with the foundation. With the foundation, it definitely is sheer and you have to build it up. I did go in with like another layer and kind of build it up. I noticed that on this side where I'm a little bit more tan, I did have to build it up a couple times. Whereas this one, it was easier to build up because, you know, I'm not that tan on this side with the bare skin. So if you guys can see on this side, I do have a bit of a sheen going on. I don't want to say like oily, I want to say like almost like a glowy sheen going on. I'm going to go ahead now and get into the blush. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the cream blush. This one right here is Fuego Flush. First, I'm going to apply it with my fingers, and then I'm going to go in with my dual fiber blending brush. I did a quick swatch. It actually was a little bit sheer, but on the skin it's not. Okay, so I'm picking up my dual fiber brush and I'm going to blend that. Now I'm going to go into the blush. See if we could kind of build this up. The gold shimmer, it's mostly just going into my pores, like the area where I have bigger pores. I definitely see it. Okay guys, so that is one layer of the Fuego Flush Blush on my skin on the side that has foundation. I'm going to go ahead and do another layer just right on top and see if it's buildable. I'm going to go in with the brush, dip a little bit in here, and then kind of blend everything nicely together. You can definitely see the little bit of shimmer right here. I'm going to zoom in a lot so you guys can see what it looks like. There's little speckles of like gold on the skin. Alright you guys, so it's pretty early in the day right now, so I'm going to go ahead and wear this about 6 to 8 hours so I can kind of do a wear test. Really quickly, I want to mention something. So I have this blush. This is from M2U NYC. It's like an affordable brand, and I just noticed that this blush, specifically it's called Spring Dust, is actually kind of similar in tone, but it does have that thing where it has like that little bit of shimmer, like the little bit of gold speckles. But you know what's funny? I think these are actually a little bit finer than the one from Fenty Beauty. So you guys can see this one is super pigmented, whereas the Fenty one is not. But like I said, it's not marketed to be that way. It's like said on the website that it's supposed to be sheer. So let's compare the Fenty one. So very different, obviously. Let's go in with another swatch. Yeah, definitely different. Let's go ahead and see how they look if I blend it out. And this one, when I try to blend out, I feel like it's gonna just be gone. Okay, so I think if you are looking for something a bit more of a deeper orange, then this one would be better for you. Obviously, it's not the same dupe. I just noticed that they both had like those speckles of gold in it, so I just wanted to compare. So if you wanted something that wasn't as sheer, I think you might actually prefer this one. This one is from M2U NYC and it's in Spring Dust. So this is what it looks like blended out. Alright you guys, so what I'm going to do on this side of the face, I am going to go in with a little bit of powder just to kind of lock it in. Okay, so I'm picking up my NYX Cosmetics HD Finishing Powder. Only on this side of the face, I'm going to go in with the NYX Cosmetics Setting Spray. So I'm just going to try to find something to cover up half my face. I'm going to wear this for about 6 to 8 hours, and then I will check in back with you guys and let you guys know how it did wear. Hopefully the sun doesn't go down and there's still sunlight so you guys can see how it looks like in natural daylight. So let's go ahead and zoom it in, and then I'll see you guys in 6 to 8 hours. Here you guys can kind of see a little bit of the shimmery and gold sparkles that I was talking about. Alright everyone, so I'm back. It is actually 8 p.m. now. So unfortunately, the sun didn't go down, but it started to get really gloomy and rainy. So there's not natural lighting anymore as much. I do have the window open, but I did have to turn on one of my studio lights and that's it. So I did the ultimate wear test, guys. So I was actually moving stuff in and out of the car and it started raining and I was sweating so much moving stuff out. You guys can tell in my hair I got caught in the rain. And this makeup actually stayed on. Like the blush is actually still on my skin and so is the bronzer, and it's been like 8 hours. I have to say that this definitely passed my wear test because it stayed on like really well. Like, so I was looking at myself really up close in the mirror and I could definitely still see the blush. It definitely has gone down a little bit. Like, it's not as orangey as it was before when I first applied it. It's definitely gone down, but you can still see the shimmer and a slight little bit of the blush. I feel like the bronzer for me stayed on a little bit better, especially right here on the part where my skin is bare, where it didn't have the foundation and the concealer, and then like I did go in with powder on this side and the setting spray. They actually stayed on really well on this side. Like you can tell where I put on the bronzer because is obviously a little bit more tan here than here. Yeah, I feel like the bronzer stayed on really nicely. The blush did start to fade a little bit, but the bronzer for me stayed on really well. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on the blush and then the bronzer. So the blush for me I wouldn't say this was my absolute favorite. I think it does go on the skin really nicely and it does blend well, but it is a little too sheer for me. I know it does build up, but personally, I just prefer a blush that is more pigmented at first, and then if I want to sheer it out, I can sheer it out, whereas this one is sheer to buildable. I felt like the sheerness of it is a little bit more different than the bronzer, and then I will get into that. So what else I didn't like about the blush was that it had shimmer in it, but that's my fault because it literally said tangerine with shimmer, but I was so excited to get this orangey color that I just bought it right away and said I should have got another blush from them that doesn't have it. So if you guys look throughout the other blush options, there's other ones that don't have shimmer in it. So some of them have shimmer and then some of them don't, like Daiquiri Dip, I think that's how you say it, doesn't have shimmer in it. So I'll leave a picture of it right here. For me, it felt like, you know when you put on glitter and glitter starts to come off on your face throughout the day? That's literally what the shimmer in this blush felt like. Even looking at it now, I can see like specks of shimmer on my forehead and here in my pores, and I don't really like it that much. So yeah, I didn't really like the blush that much. I actually prefer this one from the drugstore that's only $5 better. It's pigmented at first and then I can kind of sheer it out. But of course, that is personal preference. If you want something very light, very sheer, then I would go with this blush, but for me, I didn't like that, and I didn't like the shimmer in it. Now for the bronzer, I feel completely different about the bronzer than I do about the blush. I actually absolutely loved the bronzer, and I think I would repurchase this one, but for the winter time, I think I would go a shade lighter in Butter Biscuit, and I feel like that would be so good for bare skin. Like, if you just kind of want to add a little bit of warmth to the skin, and you really don't want to go in with a lot of bronzer, and you kind of just want to add a little bit to your face, you don't want to go in with that much makeup, you want to go bare skin, just kind of a light little bit of bronzer, then I actually really recommend the bronzer. I think it's so good, and I would probably wear it all year round. The bronzer for me, I felt like held up a little bit better throughout the day, and it faded a little bit less than the blush. So I feel like the bronzer for me was a win-win. I love how well it blended. It didn't cling to any texture. It just looked really good on the skin. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I actually really liked the bronzer. I thought it was really good. I think it's really hard to find a good cream bronzer, and I think they really nailed that one. As for the blush, it wasn't my favorite. I found better at the drugstore, but of course that is personal preference because, you know, I don't want a blush that's sheer. I'd rather have something that's a little bit more pigmented. But for the bronzer, I actually prefer a bit of a sheer to buildable type of coverage. So of course everything is like personal preference on how you like it, but okay, you guys, so that is pretty much it. Let me know if you guys picked up these Fenty Beauty cream blushes or bronzers, and let me know your thoughts on them. And yeah, that's it. I will see everyone in my next video. Bye, everyone.